The year your child was born wasn't random, it was divinely timed. Ancient Buddhist masters understood something that modern parenting books overlook completely. The universe speaks through numbers, and the final digit of your child's birth year carries a sacred vibration that reveals their soul's purpose. This single number explains why they act the way they do, why certain parenting approaches work beautifully while others create constant friction, and what karmic lessons you're meant to share together on this lifetime's journey. Have you ever wondered why your child seems to carry gifts or challenges you don't fully understand? Why they respond to the world in ways that feel foreign to you, even though they came from you? What if every frustration you've felt, every moment where you've questioned whether you're doing this right, was actually pointing you toward their hidden purpose? What if the struggles weren't failures at all, but invitations to understand the deeper spiritual contract between you? Before we dive in, I want you to do something powerful right now. Pause this video for just a moment and comment your child's birth year below. Write it down. Let's discover their soul number together, and as you read through the comments later, you'll see an entire community of conscious parents recognizing the same divine patterns you're about to discover. Here's what the ancient teachings reveal. Buddhist numerology teaches that each digit from 0 through 9 carries a specific energetic frequency tied to life purpose and karmic contracts. These aren't arbitrary personality types or Western astrology signs. These are vibrational blueprints that existed before your child took their first breath. The last digit of the birth year is particularly powerful because it represents the soul's chosen entry point into this lifetime's lessons. Think about that for a moment. Your child's soul selected the exact year to arrive, knowing what number energy they would carry, knowing what lessons they came here to learn and teach. When you understand your child's number, something profound shifts in your relationship. Parenting transforms from struggle into spiritual collaboration. You stop trying to force them into shapes that don't fit their essence. You stop questioning why they can't just be easier, more compliant, more like you expected. Instead, you become the guide they specifically chose before either of you arrived in these bodies. You recognize that you were matched not by accident, but by divine design. Your strengths and your wounds, your wisdom and your blind spots, all of it perfectly calibrated to help their soul grow in exactly the ways it needs to. This isn't about excusing behavior or avoiding boundaries. This is about parenting with eyes wide open to who your child actually is, not who you wish they would be. It's about honoring their sacred path while teaching them to walk it with integrity and awareness. Every number carries both gifts and challenges, light and shadow. Your role is to nurture the gifts while helping them navigate the challenges with compassion, not shame. So let's begin with the number that changes everything about how you see your child. Take a deep breath, call their birth year to mind, and look at that final digit. That number is about to reveal the soul contract you've been living without even knowing it existed. If your child's birth year ends in 0, you've been chosen to parent an infinite soul. 0 represents the unmanifest void, infinite potential, and direct connection to source energy itself. These children arrived carrying something rare and precious. From the moment they could focus their eyes, they've been seeing beyond what's visible. They're the ones who talk about past lives at age 3, who sense when someone is sad before words are spoken, who seem to carry wisdom that doesn't match their years on this planet. Your 0 child has natural spiritual gifts that can feel almost unsettling if you don't understand what you're witnessing. They heal through presence alone. When they enter a room, the energy shifts. Other children gravitate toward them for comfort. They see connections others miss, speaking truths that sound profound coming from such a young soul. But here's what the Buddhist teachings want you to understand. Their challenge isn't about learning to be more spiritual. It's about learning to function in a material world that often feels too dense, too loud, too disconnected from the subtle realms they navigate so naturally. They can seem spaced out, overwhelmed by crowds or chaos, struggling with practical tasks because their consciousness operates on a different frequency. Your role isn't to dim their cosmic awareness, it's to help them ground it. Teach them that being deeply spiritual and functioning effectively in the world aren't opposites. They're teaching you to see beyond the visible, and you're teaching them to walk with 1 foot in heaven and 1 foot on earth. If your child's birth year ends in 1, you're raising a pioneer spirit. 1 is the initiator, the lone warrior, representing independence and original creation. These children came here to learn self-trust at the deepest level, and they start practicing from day 1. You've probably noticed their fierce determination, the way they insist on doing things themselves, even when it would be faster if you just helped. They're natural leaders with innovative thinking and courageous self-reliance that can take your breath away. But here's where it gets challenging. They resist authority, including yours. They struggle with collaboration because they trust their own vision more than anyone else's, and they can become isolated, building walls to protect their independence. The lesson here cuts both ways. Give them autonomy within boundaries, let them make age-appropriate choices, and experience natural consequences. They came to learn that asking for help isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Your task is teaching them that true strength includes vulnerability, that the greatest leaders know when to stand alone and when to invite others in. If your child's birth year ends in 2, you're guiding a harmonizer. 2 embodies duality, partnership, and the art of balance through relationship. These souls arrived with exceptional empathy already wired into their system. They're the natural mediators of the family, deeply intuitive about others' feelings, sensing tension before conflict erupts, and moving instinctively to smooth it over. Their cooperative spirit makes them seem like easy children, but look closer. They're losing themselves in others' needs, absorbing emotions like a sponge, avoiding necessary conflict because harmony matters more to them than their own truth. When you argue with your partner, they carry that energy for days. When a sibling is upset, they shape-shift to make everyone comfortable. The profound lesson you're here to teach, their sensitivity is power, not weakness. Help them understand that peace doesn't come from erasing their own voice. It comes from honoring all voices, including their own. They're teaching you that real harmony isn't the absence of conflict, it's the presence of authentic connection, even when that connection includes disagreement. If your child's birth year ends in 3, you're blessed with creative expression incarnate. 3 represents the trinity of creation, mind, body, and spirit united through joyful manifestation. These children arrived with boundless creativity, infectious optimism, and the ability to communicate complex emotions through art, movement, music, or story. They're natural performers who light up when witnessed. They turn grocery store aisles into stages and bedtime into improvised theater. Their joy is genuine, and their ability to see possibility in everything can pull you out of your darkest moments. But their energy scatters. They start 10 projects and finish none. They use humor to deflect when conversations get too deep, bouncing away from discomfort with another joke, another distraction. Your challenge is to channel their creative fire without dimming it. They need structure, but rigid control will break their spirit. They're teaching you that joy and discipline can coexist, that self-expression is sacred work, not frivolous play. Give them containers for their creativity and watch them flourish. If your child's number is between 4 and 6, their soul chose the path of earthly mastery, and that's where we're heading next. If your child's birth year ends in 4, you're raising a builder. 4 is the number of foundation, the 4 directions, the 4 elements, stability anchored through structure. These children are the ones who organize their toys by category at age 5, who create elaborate systems for managing their allowance, who find genuine comfort in routines and traditions. They're reliable and responsible in ways that can surprise you. While other children chaos through their rooms, your 4 child creates order from it. They have a strong work ethic that seems innate, not taught. They value security, and they believe in doing things the right way, the proven way, the way that's worked before. But here's where their gift becomes their growing edge. That same love of structure can harden into rigidity. They fear change because change threatens the stability they've worked so hard to build. When you try to shift routines or introduce new approaches, they resist with everything they have. They can become controlling, needing every detail managed, every variable accounted for. They grow overly cautious, choosing safety over growth because the unknown feels dangerous to their foundation-building soul. What you need to understand is this: help them build flexible foundations. The lesson they're teaching you is profound. True security doesn't come from external control. It comes from inner stability that can bend without breaking. Teach them that strong structures allow for movement, that the greatest buildings sway in the wind. They need to learn that change isn't the enemy of security. It's the proof that what they've built can weather any storm. If your child's birth year ends in 5, you've got a free spirit on your hands. 5 represents change, adventure, and the 5 senses experiencing life in full, vibrant color. These children are adaptable in ways that can exhaust you. They're curious about everything, charismatic enough to talk their way into and out of any situation, and they thrive in variety the way other children thrive in routine. They're natural risk-takers with magnetic energy that draws people to them. They can walk into a room full of strangers and leave with 5 new friends. They see possibilities where others see obstacles, and their enthusiasm for new experiences is genuinely contagious. The challenge comes with commitment. They resist it instinctively because commitment feels like a cage. They seek constant stimulation, moving from interest to interest, hobby to hobby, friend group to friend group, never landing long enough to develop depth. They can be impulsive, making decisions based on excitement rather than wisdom, and their relationship with responsibility is complicated at best. Here's the delicate balance you're learning to hold. Provide roots while honoring their wings. They came to this lifetime to show you that change isn't chaos, it's evolution. But freedom without responsibility isn't freedom at all, it's just running. Your task is teaching them that true freedom comes from choosing their commitments consciously, not avoiding them entirely. They need to learn that depth and variety aren't opposites, that you can explore the world while still having a home base to return to. If your child's birth year ends in 6, you're guiding a nurturer. 6 embodies service, domesticity, and the heart's capacity to hold all beings with genuine compassion. These children are born caretakers. They're the ones comforting crying classmates, making sure everyone gets a turn, bringing you drawings when you're sad, offering their favorite stuffed animal to a sibling in distress. They have a strong moral compass that shows up early, an instinct for what's fair and right and good. They create beauty and harmony wherever they go, arranging things just so, noticing when something feels off in the family dynamic. They're deeply loyal and fiercely protective of those they love. But watch closely, because this is where they lose themselves. They slip into martyrdom so quietly you might not notice until they're depleted. They have difficulty receiving help because giving feels like their purpose, their worth, their identity. When you try to do something for them, they deflect. When they need something, they minimize it. And here's the shadow side that surprises parents. They can become judgmental when others don't meet their standards of care and service. The lesson you're here to teach is essential. Model receiving as well as giving. Show them that true service includes self-love, that boundaries aren't selfish, they're sacred. They're teaching you that you can't pour from an empty cup, but they need you to teach them how to let their cup be filled. Help them understand that accepting care is a gift to the giver, not a burden. The final numbers, 7, 8, and 9, carry the most spiritually advanced frequencies. If your child's number is among these, you're about to understand why their path has felt so intense. If your child's birth year ends in 7, you're parenting a mystic seeker. 7 is the sacred number of the seeker, the 7 chakras, the 7 days, the bridge between earth and heaven. These souls came here to question everything, and they start young. They're deeply introspective with analytical minds that never stop processing, examining, wondering why things are the way they are. While other children accept simple answers, your 7 child digs deeper, asking follow-up questions that reveal their thinking on levels most adults don't reach. They're naturally drawn to philosophy and mystery, spending hours lost in thought, fascinated by concepts like infinity, death, the meaning of dreams, the nature of consciousness itself. These children need solitude, the way others need social connection. It's not anti-social, it's essential. In quiet moments alone, they're doing the sacred work of their soul, integrating information, seeking patterns, reaching for wisdom. But here's the shadow that concerns you. They can become isolated, building walls between themselves and the world because people feel too complicated, too illogical, too much. They overthink to the point of paralysis, analyzing every possibility until action becomes impossible. And trust, especially trust in others, doesn't come naturally to them. They've learned early that people disappoint, that promises break, that the only reliable thing is their own mind. The lesson you're holding for them is delicate but crucial. Honor their need for solitude while maintaining connection. Don't force them into social situations that violate their nature, but don't let them disappear completely either. They're teaching you that wisdom comes through questioning, that uncertainty isn't weakness, and that not all answers are meant to be found. Some mysteries are meant to be lived, not solved. If your child's birth year ends in 8, you're raising an abundance carrier. 8 represents infinity turned upright, the continuous flow of giving and receiving, material and spiritual power flowing in an endless loop. These children are natural manifestors. They understand energy exchange at a cellular level, recognizing that everything is currency, attention, effort, time, money, love, all of it flowing in patterns they can see and influence. They're ambitious with integrity, setting goals that others find unrealistic, and then achieving them through focused will and strategic action. Their presence is magnetic. People are drawn to their confidence, their clarity, their unshakable belief that they can create whatever they envision. But power comes with temptation, and 8 children face it early. They can become obsessed with achievement, measuring their worth by external accomplishments, needing the next win to feel valuable, the next recognition to feel seen. Success becomes addiction, and rest feels like failure. They may confuse their worth with their accomplishments, believing they're only as good as their last achievement. Power struggles emerge, especially with you, because they're learning to wield influence and don't always wield it wisely. Here's what you're called to teach. Guide them to ethical success. Show them that abundance is their birthright, not something they have to earn through endless striving. Help them understand that true power isn't domination, it's using resources to uplift others. They came to this lifetime to prove that material success and spiritual integrity aren't opposites, that you can be prosperous and principled, wealthy and wise. Your task is teaching them that the greatest manifestation isn't more, it's enough. If your child's birth year ends in 9, you're honored with a compassionate sage. 9 is completion, the humanitarian carrying the wisdom of all previous numbers into service of the whole. These are old soul children. You can see it in their eyes, the way they look at you sometimes like they've lived 1,000 lifetimes and remember every lesson. They have universal compassion, feeling not just empathy for individuals but for humanity itself, for animals, for the earth, for suffering wherever it exists. They're natural healers who seem to absorb pain from the room and transform it. They see the bigger picture effortlessly, understanding complex systems and interconnections that adults struggle to grasp. But their compassion comes at a cost they don't yet know how to manage. They have difficulty with boundaries, taking on everyone's pain until they're carrying weight that was never theirs to hold. They can become depleted, giving until there's nothing left, operating on fumes because need always exceeds their capacity. And here's what surprises people. They may struggle with ordinary life tasks, paying bills, remembering appointments, managing practical details, because their consciousness operates on a level where those things feel trivial compared to the suffering they're trying to alleviate. The profound lesson you're here to teach: sustainable compassion. Show them that letting go is the highest form of love, that they can care deeply without carrying everything, that endings create space for new beginnings. They're reminding you that completion isn't failure, it's the natural cycle of all things. Help them understand that they can serve the world without sacrificing themselves, that boundaries aren't walls, they're the containers that make deep work possible. Now that you understand your child's soul number, I want you to hear something important. These numbers aren't personality boxes that limit who your child can become. They're energetic blueprints that reveal the soul contract between you, the sacred agreement you made before either of you arrived in these bodies. Every challenge you face together, every moment when you've questioned whether you're equipped for this, every time their behavior has pushed you to your edge, all of it is divinely designed for mutual evolution. They're not here just to learn from you. You're here to learn from them. This is a two-way street paved with grace. So here's how you honor their sacred path starting today. Each morning before the rush begins, before the demands pile up, take one quiet moment and silently speak this blessing. Say their name followed by their number, then add this commitment. I honor your energy and I commit to seeing your highest self today. That's it. You don't need incense or meditation cushions or perfect conditions. You just need intention. When your zero child seems lost in space, you'll remember you're looking at infinite potential. When your one child defies you, you'll recognize a pioneer learning to trust themselves. When your five child can't sit still, you'll see a free spirit doing exactly what they came here to do. Once a week, create what I call a soul number altar with your child. This isn't complicated. Find a small space, a shelf, a corner of their room, and invite them to choose objects that represent their number's energy. Let them lead. If there are 3 and they choose a paintbrush, a joke book, and a sparkly stone, perfect. If there are 7 and they choose a journal, a crystal, and a picture of the night sky, honor that. This practice teaches them to trust their intuition, to recognize that they know their own essence better than anyone else ever could. It also gives you a visual reminder of who they truly are beneath the behavior that sometimes drives you to distraction. And here's your mantra for transformation, the words that will shift everything when you remember to speak them. I parent with awareness, not control. I guide with wisdom, not force. I trust my child's sacred path. Say it when you're frustrated. Say it when they're struggling. Say it when you're tempted to make them into who you think they should be instead of supporting who they actually are. These words will bring you back to center, back to the truth that your job isn't to mold them. It's to witness them, to hold space for their becoming. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below using this format. My child is number, and now I understand why they, then fill in that specific trait that finally makes sense. Maybe it's why your 4 child melts down when routines change. Maybe it's why your 6 child can't say no to helping everyone. Maybe it's why your 8 child is already planning their future business at age 7. Share your recognition. Let's celebrate our children's divine designs together. Read through the comments and send blessings to other parents walking this conscious path. We're all doing sacred work here, even on the hard days, especially on the hard days. If this resonated with you, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel for more ancient wisdom applied to modern life. And remember this final truth: your child chose you as their guide because your soul recognized theirs. Before birth, before bodies, before all the complexity of this human experience, you knew each other. You agreed to this journey together. Trust the wisdom of that choice. You are not perfect, but you are exactly the parent they need. Namaste.